Hello, I'm Manish Anand. The Raisina Hills brings to you another episode of a special discussion on a raging debate about moonlighting. That is in the context of Wipro sacking 300 employees in one go for violating the contracts. We have we are going to have three guests. In fact, right now two are there right now with us. One is Sudeep Kumar. He is joining us from London. He is the director of Accenture IT Solutions, a UK-based consulting company, and he operates in the UK, Netherlands, and he has the finance and the insurance background, and he has done MS in IT besides MBA in finance from the UK. So, Sudeep, warm welcome to you to our special discussion.
Thanks, Manish.
Another guest is Pankaj Mishra, another industry veteran. He has been in the IT sector for the last 18 years. He is currently the project manager at Agreya Solutions. He is a BTech and MBA from IBSIM. So, very warm welcome to Mr. Pankaj.
Thank you, Manish, for inviting me.
So, to begin with, there are different interpretations of moonlighting. Some say that it is about taking a little extra works in your spare time, and some say if you have extra time, then you can take extra jobs also. And Sudeep and Pankaj, both of you, let me tell that when the former Foreign Secretary Shashank was with us in our show, he shared a very interesting anecdote that many of the Indians who were doctors, lawyers, or in other professions in the US became millionaires because of moonlighting only. And it was because that there was a drought happening in the US, and a lot of people left the US to go to Europe to escape the drought. And the Indians did the extra work and they made the money. So now, why do we have problem with that if that is happening in India? So just to interrupt you, we are joined by Vinay Prakash. Vinay Prakash is an ex-civil servant and an IIT BHU graduate. He is a co-founder of Ubiqc. It's a startup working for the insurance industry where you get your all insurance policies in one wallet. A very unique initiative he has come out and he is operating out from Noida. So very warm welcome to our show, Vinay.
Hi,
Uh,
Manish. Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Okay, so
Vinay.
Vinay is with us.
Hello.
So
Hey, hi.
Vinay, Sudeep, and Pankaj are with us already. And I just put one question. Let me begin with Sudeep. What exactly we should understand by moonlighting? What is this?
Yeah, so okay, so I'll give you a little background. I'll cover a little bit of the European market and the UK market, the moonlighting perspective, plus the other stuff. Um, so the moonlighting, it was existing in the UK and rest of the Europe since many years. We know this new terminology because it is coming into the press in India when Wipro fired so many staffs. However, um, there's a no legal requirement that the moonlighting is illegal. So it is perfectly fine from the legitimate reasons. However, there was a few points I would like to raise here. One is the employment contractual obligations. That's when you join any company, they sign a contract between employer and the employers. And there are some few clauses just mentioned that yeah, so you cannot work in the other company. But that's again is not a legal requirement that you can't work. That's the point number one. Point number two is conflict of interest. So if I say conflict of interest, what it means is if you're working for a company, say insurance-based company, and you are going to join another insurance company, and you are leaking some of your information to the other company, so that means it become a conflict of interest. That means if you, for example, you are working as a very high responsible position in company A, which is taking as some of the decisions per se in the insurance sector, which can impact the overall insurance market. And because you are doing the moonlighting, there's a high chances you can leak this info to other company, and that will become a conflict of interest. So that's two things. That's the one mutual obligation between these two companies.
So, okay,
The other,
let me bring, and one more thing I would like to clarify that anybody can here ask questions to anybody here. So let
yes,
it
yes,
not be
please,
that I'm interviewing three of you. Let there be a fair
yes, please,
discussion, free flowing of the
yeah,
ideas. So let me bring in Pankaj here. He's an industry veteran, and he'll give the Indian perspective also because he's based out of Noida. Pankaj,
yeah.
Sudeep has said that definitely there is a legal requirement that you're bound by a contract. Is the contract making the employees slaves of the companies that they work for? Pankaj, you are muted. Please unmute and then speak.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Manish. So there are two parts of the story which Sudeep very correctly mentioned. And the first one is the legal requirement part, which goes basically when you join a company, you have a set of legal requirements which prohibit you from joining rival companies. So with Wipro also, the second line that came along with Moonlighting was there were some rival companies for which these employees were working, and there was a high chance of data getting leaked out. Uh, we can talk about the legal requirements, and the other part of the story will be ethics. Is it ethical to work in some other company when you are there with your parent organization? So this again, it's an ecosystem has another paradigm which talks about uh, where are we? We are in a world which is highly virtualized. So prior to 2020, things were different. The administration was very man-to-man administration where people used to go to the offices. With the pandemic, things have changed. Now, virtualization enables you to have meetings which are geographically distributed meetings are a bonus for us. But at the same time, you don't know what the other person is doing at this and during the office hours. So the overall confidence of the company somewhat is not at the same position what it was before. Uh, so when we talk about moonlighting and when we talk about whether moonlighting is correct or not, then this is something they should be not basically judged by the meaning of the word, but talking about which exactly is the thing that we are defining as moonlighting. Is it something which is bounded by legal compliances, or it is bounded by some kind of data leakage to the competitors? Or and thirdly, if it is unethical, I mean, to me, moonlighting is one word, but the other part to it is that the employee who's doing it is not exactly attached with the parent organization, is
indeed,
not
fair point.
understanding the values.
Indeed,
Yeah,
fair
it
point,
is not
Pankaj.
understanding the values of that organization. He doesn't belong to that organization. He doesn't feel to be in place in that organization. So
In-
while the employees are doing something unethical, the other part of the story is the organization should also think about where do they lack. It's
Of
kind
course,
of yeah. It's
yeah,
both the parties have a vital role in this whole thing. Yeah.
of course. That is a fair, balanced perspective. Let me bring in Vinay. Vinay is an employer. He is employing a lot of people in his company. So let me give the employer's perspective because definitely the employers are complaining that because of the work from home ecosystem, we don't know that you're having three laptops on and you're working simultaneously for other companies, which may be compromising the data and other sensitive materials of that parent company. Yes, Vinay.
Well, moonlighting is an old concept. I mean, it has nothing to do with
Okay, you're frozen, I suppose, Vinay. Your audio is also not coming. So we'll wait for Vinay to get back. Sudeep, can you please come in?
Yeah. So one thing I would like to highlight, in US under Section 96, which essentially prohibit employers to take any actions against the employee who is engaging with the other companies. So that means they can legally can't take any actions. They can't fire the employee. They can't question them as long as all the works is carried out of office hours. So there's a 2 points here. So there should not be any compromise in the quality of the employee working on the production services. If there's no compromise, and the other companies he's working for, he is out of his free time. That means out of his office hours. So
Definitely,
per
very,
se,
very interesting. Very interesting. Vinay,
yeah,
very interesting thing because in India, Vinay, if you are able to get back, very interesting point Sudeep made that in you have a fixed working hours, and in that working hours you work for the company you're employed with, and in rest of the time the company doesn't bother at all.
Yeah. Am I audible this time? Am
Yeah,
I
yeah.
audible now?
yes,
Perfect,
yes.
perfect.
Okay. So I was saying I have been encountering moonlighting since last many years, since 2008. And at that time I was running a company in oil and gas, and we do used to do engineering design here in India for US. And this is very, very prevalent. You call it moonlighting. I mean, in IT it could be new, but in other sectors I think it has been going since ages. It is very simple. It need not be conflicting in nature always. I mean, it is just a part-time thing that any employee can do, as far as it is not conflict. I mean, it should not be against the business interest of the main company. So moonlighting, and against that, I'm giving you a term, sunlighting. I mean, during the day you work something else, you do your main job, and during the night you do something else, which if it is not hampering or doing anything wrong, or it is essentially not against the interest of the parent main company, I don't think there is any problem. And if at all someone is doing, or if the main company wants to know that you are working or not, the person should not be hiding it. That is the only issue. I think I will not be able to comment upon what Wipro has done and why they have reacted so drastically on this issue. This is kind of a well-known issue. I mean, in industry we know it since ages. That might be
Okay, so
some
it
other
has been
hidden.
there. It has been there since the ages, and Vinay is making
Yes,
all
yes.
these remarks truly in moonlighting only because he's, I suppose, in the traffic. So, Pankaj, what Sudeep and Vinay are saying that be transparent, be truthful to your employer. Yes, I have a spare time, and I'm doing so and so work. Does that work in
Yes,
India?
yes. That is, I think, on
Yes,
professional grounds, someone should do this at the moment. I mean, at least someone should do this. He or she should declare that I'm giving this much of these many hours to some other company, and the nature of job is this, which is not essentially against the interest of the current company. I think that should have been enough for any company.
Yes, that is a
That's what I think.
that is okay. That is desirable. That should happen. But does that really happen? Let Pankaj and Sudeep share with us one
It
by one.
doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
so
Yeah, Pankaj.
yes, yes, Manish, I mean, depends on the company and overall management, how comfortable they are with the employee working outside of business hours. So few of the instances that I've seen that yes, the employers, they want to know about if somehow they know that the person is engaged into something, then they definitely have a one-to-one conversation talking about, are you working on something else, and is it. So the basic intent is to know about if the business that they are associated with on a part-time or a contract or whatever basis is of conflicting nature. So the key part of the information, something like I can give you personally an example is like I had few training sessions with Microsoft a few years back, and I told my company that this is one thing I would like to go for. It's something that is good for me, and they allowed it. So there are organizations, and this was something very much different from the office work. So it depends on the company how open they are with this thing. Secondly, as uh, as Sandeep said, and we are all talking about it, that it's very vital to share the information with the employer and be very truthful about sharing this information. Because sometimes it might be that you might not actually be knowing that you're doing something wrong. You might ask the people, avoid any kind of legal risk or something, Because when you are transparent about you doing another set of job outside the working hours, that makes a much more supportive kind of a framework in which the person can actually go for that, rather than hiding it, which doesn't make sense. So
True.
yes,
Sudeep,
definitely moonlighting. Again, when we talk about Wipro, we should understand that they were against moonlighting because few of the individuals or some of the individuals were actively engaged with rival companies,
okay.
which indeed, indeed, yeah, they were right. If I read this line correctly, yes, they are correct about it.
Sorry, let's not call that. We cannot call that moonlighting. That case.
That is different. That's
Right,
a
that is not. Yes,
uh,
so that is not ethically right. Especially this can be very drastic if some if there's a product company which is coming up with a new product, and some of the members are aligned with another product company on the same business line, then your whole
obviously.
idea goes for a toss.
Yeah,
So
Obviously.
this is a very dangerous and a difficult thing to
Yeah,
talk about. Uh,
that's essentially not moonlighting.
Sudeep,
yeah, so that's
all
unethical
this
rather.
debate has come because of the work from home ecosystem that India is right now.
Absolutely.
And for Europe and
yeah,
America, work from home may have been quite old and the people may have adjusted. But in India, people are not able to even adjust 2 years after the COVID-19 pandemic. Sudeep,
yeah. So yeah, so work from home is a new norms. I know after this COVID. Um, However, I would like to highlight few more points. I think we know the conflict of interest, which we have seen. If you're working for one product and the other company is working for the similar kind of product, there's the information leak. Is highly likely to happen. And then how we execute the moonlighting, that's a very important bit. So, and someone say, I think Pankaj said that, yeah, the employee should mention to the employer that I'm doing the moonlighting. But how comfortable are the employee to mention this to employers? I said very low percentage, because because you have got a job, a secure job, and you got another job. You don't want to miss out the secure job. You by telling the employer that, yeah, I have got another job, that will be definitely a highly likely that's a wrong impression to your employer, because not only you're getting a income, extra income, but also your career path may be impacted, because they know that this guy is earning higher than the normal employee of this company. So there'll be high chances that your career path may be impacted. It depends on the how the company have got relationship with the employees. So that's a so I think very few employees will be, I think they will be comfortable in revealing that I have got another, I'm doing the moonlighting. It's a bitter truth, but it is. So I'm not talking about the Indian perspective. Even in the Europe, many guys they do the moonlighting and they don't reveal to the other company, and there's no legal requirement that they have to mention to the employer, as long as they are contractually agreed and they are executing their job in a perfect order. There's no question asked. So I'm working for any XYZ company, and as long as ethically and I'm not doing any um, breaking of the contractual agreement, I'm fine legally. So that's one thing I would like to highlight, that there's no reason to mention to the employer that I'm doing the moonlighting, unless and until it is really required. So
indeed,
that
Right.
will
Right.
safeguard yourself. Yeah.
of
So
course.
from Indian perspective, maybe if there's a contractual agreement that you shouldn't be doing another job, but if you're doing it, then you have to legally inform them, yeah, this is what I'm doing it. But I think no employees will be comfortable in revealing
Yes,
this kind of info.
that is
Yeah.
the bottom line, Vinay. I think, Vinay, the problem may be that it would be, as the former vice chairman of Niti Aayog said, that Vinay Prakash said, that Indian economy is all about low wages employment. So that is a major concern, and because of which the employees may have been going for moonlighting without informing their
I am.
principal employer.
I would like to briefly disagree from this. Moonlighting is a universe. It's a global concept.
Okay.
Let's not blame Indian people. I mean, I can accept that they are lowly paid, but then I have been in touch with people from all around, from US. I mean, I have we used to get very senior engineers involved as moonlighters. We don't call them moonlighters. Moonlighting is kind of a disparaging concept. You can get anyone involved part time, which is no ways related with what they are doing in their during their full time. So that can be called moonlight. I mean, and another perspective I can add to this. Yes, I mean, on the Indian, non-Indian part, you can say majority of the moonlighters can be from the third world, if not Indian only, either Romania or Ukraine or whatsoever. But then, yes, moonlighting is a global concept. Another perspective, I just want to add to what Sandeep said. Since the cat is out of the bag, everybody is talking about moonlighting. Moonlighting was being hush-hushed till yesterday. And now that
Yes.
everybody is talking about it, now that even employers will be open to it, they will give an option in their contractual letter, in their employment letter, that now if the moonlighting is, if you are doing anything besides what you are supposed to do here, and if that is non-conflicting in nature, you can just go ahead and do it. So that kind
Yeah,
of, I think people will go it. Otherwise, people will hide it and anyways do it. So rather than allowing them to do it clandestine, I mean, it's better to accept it and allow them to do it as far as they don't harm your main employment. I mean, the
correct.
the the the,
Yeah,
the main
yeah,
job.
True.
So
yeah.
I
So
think that will happen.
that,
Slowly, that
yeah,
will happen. People will start accepting it.
so that
Yeah.
requires healthy relations between the employees and the employers. And you being in a very senior position in an IT company in the UK, you must have been dealing with a lot of employees. Are they really forthcoming to share such details? Do you think they would be doing it?
No, so contractually, they never mention anything like moonlighting is permittable or not permittable. So it's a contractual things, and they will mention that yeah, your normal working hours is 9 to 5, 7.25 hours, and after that hours is all yours. So whatever you do, it doesn't matter for them, as long as the um, quality of services that you deliver to them is all in line with their expectations. There's absolutely no question asked. So that's a straightforward thing. So, but one more thing, in the Western world, the work-life balance is a core to their culture. So normally, a big percentage of people, they don't like working more than 7 or 8 hours. That's a norms here, primarily because of the health reason, and because of the public, because the most of the health sector here is public funded. So they don't want to do an extra hours and getting impacted on their health and the family relations. So they normally they avoid a moonlighting or the extra hours of work unless and until it's really needed. um, so I think a very small percentage of people where they would like to earn a little bit more money to run their family, or maybe boost up their savings. So percentage of those people are very, very less. Honestly speaking, I can't even say 0.5% here. They would like to do the moonlighting. They're talking about 4 days a week working culture. They are trying to reduce as much as they can. So at the moment, it's 37.5 hours per week. They're looking for 30 hours now. So now on top of that, if somebody is doing extra hours of work, that will be a very small percentage of people here in the Western world, I'm saying. So so
It's
that's one thing.
Hmm. Yeah, go ahead, complete you.
Oh yeah, and the other thing is which I'm so a there's two types of jobs getting executed here. One is the contract work, and one is the permanent work. So permanent work is something you're working for a employers for a longer time. That means your permanent job. Another is a contract job. So contract job is very popular here, where you can work for multiple clients, and it is perfectly normal. And the contract works, it will not tell you the what's your normal working hours. That means you are not obliged to work 9 to 5. So you can work for a client, say morning 8 to 3 and then another client from 3 to 6. So that decisions is all up to you. So how you execute their work. So maybe some intelligent person, he can execute the 8 hours of work in 4 hours, and rest of the 4 hours he can execute for the another employer. So in that case, he can earn two sort of incomes there. But for tax point of view, he has to declare that to the tax officer that I'm working for two employers, so in that way. So that's the norms here. So contract work, there's no obligation. You can work for multiple clients, absolutely fine. For permanent work, you have a obligation for working for 9 to 5, but after 5, whatever you do is none of their business. So it's a
Great.
quite freestyle.
Great. Pankaj, what Sudeep is saying is about the work culture in the advanced economies where 4 days a week, 30 hours, 30 hours a week, I suppose that's being in vogue and practice. But in India, that's not a case. Here, the employers would change you even after the office hours, even when you're in the evening with your family, spending your quality time, they would ask, okay, have you got this work done? Can you please send an email, or can we have a meeting at such non-office hours? So, do you think that we are anywhere comparable with the advanced economies? Yeah,
So
Pankaj?
yes, yes. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
All right. So, Yaminesh, the things have been changing with time. However, it depends on the nature of work that is carried on by the organization. I mean, there are ways in which the work is being finalized. Uh, there are multiple. I mean, IT in itself is an ocean. There's a lot of different kind of work that is carried upon. Uh, at there are some kind of engagements which basically are quantified in the number of hours they will take to complete. So what happens is that if you are doing some work in more number of hours, then obviously that is giving you more and more money. Whereas there is some work which needs to be done just to the competition will be one of the things, or to get that kind of work as an opportunity, or getting furthermore new work from the client is something that is. So there may be a number of factors which may lead to work to be carried in a smaller frame of time. In either of these, what happens is the intent of the work is somewhere it gets lost. So I'm not completely, I'll say it's lost, but there is a difference. And in this part, what happens is that the employers basically force the employees to work for extra hours or outside of the working hours, depend just to please the client, which according to them is completely fine, because they are being they have a primary goal of keeping the client satisfied, you can say, or engaged with them for a longer duration. So
indeed.
this kind
Vinay,
of
yeah, indeed.
yeah,
Vinay is an employer here. So,
yeah.
Vinay, we have a fair clarity that moonlighting, if you are in a permanent job, you cannot take another job. So that is illegal. If you're in a contractual job, in your non-office hours, you can take up extra works. So that is fair moonlighting. Are we clear about it?
Yeah. I mean, this is well understood. See, if we talk, what should be on paper, obviously moonlighting will not be allowed. What I'm saying is it is very much in practice. You know it, I know it. I mean, the employers know it. The employees might be doing it. Nobody questions it unless until some conflict of interest or something conflicting comes to the knowledge. As far as quality time and time of working hours are concerned, India is, yeah, slightly, the culture here is not that nobody will bother you. And I work in the ecosystem of startups. Startups are slightly different. We are not an established ecosystem where Saturday, Sundays are normally non-working days. It doesn't happen. At times we work on Saturdays. At times there is an emergency. I mean, you tend to call during the odd hours to your employees. But in standard IT, the way Pankaj says, IT is an ocean. I mean, different kinds of work is going on. Different kind of consultancies are there. You cannot just brush entire IT with one stroke.
Correct. So you cannot have one
There cannot be
standardized.
one yardstick.
Normally, going, yeah, please, please go ahead.
Yeah. So Sudeep, we cannot have one standardized formula for every continent. So India is different, Europe is different, the US would be different.
Yardsticks. Yes. Yardsticks will be different, but then yes, it is different from what is happening in West. The work culture is certainly different. The way what Sandeep said, it is, yes, it is not comparable with the West, but then things are changing. At the same time, I would say things are changing. Standard companies, companies of size of 100, 200 people are maintaining that they don't have to work on Saturdays and Sundays and
Okay.
odd
So,
hours.
okay. So Sudeep, let's have a final word from you. Do you think that as the Minister for IT in India, Rajiv Chandrasekhar said that we are in the times of innovation and the knowledge-based economy, and the time has come that you need to allow the employees full freedom so that India can walk the path of innovation. Do you think we are somewhere aligned to that in our work?
Yeah, I think the India is a growing economy. We know, and any growing economy, we have to work hard. So that every citizen of India, they have to contribute to the success of the Indian economy. And if suppose a person who is working for any employees and he's doing a startup work in parallel, so he has got a startup mindset, so he can carry on his stuff, and that's where I can see India in the future. So lots of startup and lots of innovations and lots of a new ideas are coming up. So the mindset of the new say new youth is now changing. So is it like a entrepreneur mindset? I can see in the news that a lot of a cultural thing is being involved. We can see there's a big push in the innovations, there's a big push in the entrepreneurship, and this can happen only if you have got a two parallel things. You can't have a startup just for your own stuff. You have to work on something, secure a fund, and then do the startup. But there's a many ways of doing it. But you have to work for some companies or some set of environment to get the experience and then jump into the startup things.
Fantastic,
So you're not,
fantastic. So
yeah, yeah,
fantastic. So we had a very comprehensive discussion on moonlighting. We got very diverse views. Sudeep from London, working for an IT major MNC company, shared the work system in the advanced economies. Vinay, the startup co-founder, gave, and he's, as Sudeep said, they work very hard. He is still on the street from his office, and Pankaj brought in a lot of Indian perspective. Thank you so much, the guests, for joining us. We will be back with another episode for an in-depth analysis of an issue that is resonating with the people. Thank you so much for joining to us. And do share the link of the channel with your friends and relatives so that we can continue bringing in such meaningful discussions. Thank you so much.
yeah. Thanks,
Thanks,
Manish.
Manish.
Thanks, guys. See you then.
Thanks, Sandeep. Thanks,
Thank you,
Prakash.
Vijay.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Vinay.
thanks, Vijay.
Thank
Same
you.
for
Thank you.